Hey, 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 everyone. I am so glad that you have returned for another video. We are going to get right into this one because it is the viewer's choice read for the month of January. And the book is called The Perishing by Natasha Deon. And this is the book. Interesting cover. Very interesting cover, okay? And this book was suggested by Miss Holly Golightly. So thank you for this book suggestion. But ma'am, did you read this book? Did you read this book? If so, I seriously need you to convey your thoughts on it. Because look, let's see. If so, I seriously need you to convey your thoughts about this book. I started off listening to the audiobook version, but after starting it 3 times, yes, you heard me, I had to restart it 3 times. I thought, yeah, I'm going to have to read the hard copy. So, after waiting my turn at the library to get this book, I finally got it. And, well, needless to say, I was still confused. Okay? I was still confused. The book started off with chapter 0, and you usually don't see that, which I don't know if it threw me off or what, but I was like, chapter 0? Usually a book will start with a prologue, not a 0 chapter. And the chapters were short. They were very short chapters. There were some other things about the book layout that had me wondering as well, but let me try to explain the book as best I can, because as I've said, I was a little confused. So, there are 2 characters, Luis, aka Lou, and Sarah are one and the same, just at different times in life. Sarah is the previous life version of self, and Lou is the current life version of self. Now, while reading this, I first thought, is this a parallel universe kind of thing happening? And then I thought, okay, is this like reincarnation? Like, the whole 9 lives thing? Well, I'm going to let you read the book to try and figure that out, okay? I'm not going to tell you which, or if it's something totally different. You're going to have to figure that one out. But Lou and Sarah is one and the same. And Sarah apparently had many husbands, but she talks about the first one, who either died or just... And I'm going to let you read the book to figure that one out. And Lou comes into the story as a teenager that has woken up in an alley with no recollection of herself or past, basically having amnesia, right? And so Lou is placed in foster care. She obtains employment with the Times and is placed in the death department, basically reporting on people that have died. And then she's also kind of put on some other stories that are African American centered. Okay? And so she has a few stories that connect her to people, which kind of starts a chain of events. These events begin to connect the dots of who she is and what's happening to her. Kind of. again, I was confused until the end, and everything kind of clicked, kind of, sort of. And I thought maybe this book should have started off with a smidge of the ending and then go back and show us how we got to the big event. Because the way it's written, you're like, you know what, if I had known at least a piece of this in the beginning, I kind of probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. And what are we doing? So, I'll let you read the book to find out what that big event was and how all of the information beforehand ties into that. I'm all for unique, but being confused of the book was not I did in this case. Hadn't barely go lightly's viewer pick read. I'm not gonna say it's a bad book. I just why or like it wasn't suspenseful. It was just it was a story of life events, but it just had an off feeling for me when I was reading it. It was just like bouncing back and forth, and usually a bounce back and forth kind of and so, you know, creative license, okay, uniqueness, okay. Almost felt like I needed to read it again after knowing the ending and then go back and read it again. Maybe I would have got it a little bit more. I don't know. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to read it again. So that's pretty much all I can really tell you, because I battled on what to say about it. It was like, what do I say? Because I was confused. And so, oh, okay, okay, but well, what can I tell? There are supporting characters that she has come into contact with that begin to assist and reveal what's happening to, yeah. I mean, that's about, I mean, yeah. Yeah. But nonetheless, thank you, Miss Holly Golightly, for your book suggestion. I definitely need to know your thoughts. This might be one of those books where you might have to read it more than once. I just wish there was a snapshot of the ending at the beginning of the book. And then the story tells us how we got to that situation. But, you know, I didn't write the book. We deal with what we have, right? This book had some sprinkles of wisdom and food for thought, which is why I gave it an 8 out of 10 rating. It is not a bad book. Do not get me wrong. It's not a bad book. It was just my level of that. So I did give it 8 out of 10 rating. And one part of the book that talks about grief, it said, good decisions can't be made in grief. Not really. Because emotions are an incomplete guide. Most everybody is grieving the loss of something. Job, relationship. We cope with stories we tell ourselves about the loss of them and those involved. And these stories include lies like, "I never wanted it anyway." It goes on to say, we lie about what we really wanted because we don't want to feel rejected for a form of abandonment. Makes us feel abandoned. But not asking for what we want is worth. But not asking for what we want is worse. So asking to abandon yourself way back there. You can choose differently. Now that was a whole word, okay? And then another pearl of wisdom dropped was this. It said, "I've learned you can't wait for others' permission." Another pearl of wisdom dropped was this. It said, "I've learned you can't wait for other people's permission to accept your own blessed life." And then the last one I will read. The book said, "They taught me that when you can recognize a pattern, you can change an outcome. Change a pattern in your own life, you change your whole life." Now, yeah, I can attest to that being pretty accurate. So, as you can see, there are some gems hidden in this body of literature. And if you read the book, I am sure you might uncover some more pearls of wisdom gems. A couple of triggers to mention: violence. There is death mentioned and described. There are different events mentioned with the mind she was in the department to Terry about that. This book is classified under sci-fi and fantasy. I didn't get a fantasy vibe. The sci-fi part about it was kind of hidden and underlined, because you really didn't get that until close to the ending of the book. So that's what it's characterized. That's the category. So that's the category. The audiobook is almost 11 and a half hours long. I would recommend reading the physical copy of the book, though. There were 2 narrators on the audiobook, and like I said, I had to restart that thing 3 times because I was just like, what? Get the physical copy. You may feel that way too, or you may go ahead and really enjoy the audiobook, but there are no discussion questions provided in the book, which in this case, I seriously needed some discussion questions. I did. Because I needed more insight on what the author's angle was for this book and what she may have wanted us to get from it. But, yeah, there aren't any discussion questions in the book. But some topics of discussion would be the foster care system, how they determine who is eligible to be a foster parent, and how placement is determined. Another topic of life after death. Is there or isn't there? What links would you go to in what soul connections, and if this is a real thing? These could kind of get the conversation started. After you read the book, you may. But those are what I kind of came up with without trying to give the book away. So thank you again to Miss Holly Golightly for this book suggestion. I wouldn't have picked it otherwise. On this one, it definitely shook it up because I don't know where she came from. Is it we just talking about her life? I guess I just didn't know what mode to get in for this book. Oh, shoot. I mean, I was like, I don't know what mode to get in. And maybe that was it. Like, I didn't know whether I'm supposed to be, thinking along the lines of a mystery, or am I supposed to be thinking along the lines of, oh, just a day in the life in this woman's life, or was I supposed to be deciphering some of kind of one of those where you just didn't know which way you were supposed to be going, right? If you've read the book, I need someone else's perspective on this one, okay? And that may also be like, you know what, you're right. Okay, I get it now. I get it. So maybe I just need another perspective of this, and then it can be like, oh, gotcha. If you haven't read the book, take a chance. You might like it. You might find something I didn't find. You might get something from it that I didn't get, and that would be great. Now it is time to find out what will be the next viewer's choice read for February. So let's get the handy dandy base right here. And go ahead and comment your book suggestions, and they will be entered into the handy dandy base. We are running low, so all suggestions are welcome. It doesn't have to be any genre. It could be anything. And you will be given a short shout out in the review, just like Miss Holly Golightly has in this one. And I appreciate all your participation and suggestions so we can get this thing going for this year and hopefully keep it up. And so let's go ahead and pick. It'll be. Who is this? Angel Jordan! The Guest by Lisa Foley. Alright, Angel Jordan. Yeah, I knew you had some more books. Oh. So this is one of our high suggesting viewers. If you looked at last year's book reviews for the bonus book reviews of the month, Miss Angel Jordan had a few of them last year, so she's off to a good start this year as well. So Angel Jordan suggested the book